How's it going, boys and girls? Today we are going to be switching up the content a little bit because we unfortunately have an event that's been going on within the hobby. That, of course, is what's going on with Brian Barczyk. Now, a few guys should know what's been going on. Either you watch his channel. I've also made a couple of posts on Facebook and Instagram giving some insight and my condolences on the situation. However, within those posts, I've noticed a few of you guys have been asking, what's going on with him. So I figured I'd make a video, kind of explain the situation, and then talk a little bit about things we can do for Brian and how we can help him. Now, for those of you guys that still don't know what's going on, Brian unfortunately has pancreatic cancer. And if you're like me, you don't really know what pancreatic cancer is. Obviously, you know that it is a cancer, but you don't know how serious it is. So then I took it upon myself to do a little bit research on it. This is a man I really care for, a man I consider my friend, and I wanted to learn more. And unfortunately, it's a pretty serious one. It's a scary cancer to get. It's not fun. I'll be honest with you guys, and when I first started looking into it and reading about how serious it is, I started tearing up and crying about it. That really broke my heart to see that. Just like thousands of other people and probably most YouTubers that are full-time in this business, Brian was the one that got everyone inspired, including myself. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Brian. Seeing how much of a success he is on his channel and everything that he does not only gave me the inspiration, but the determination to do what I am doing today, because seeing it from him, I know it's possible and you can do what you love and still make it into a career. And in my opinion, Brian has got to be the most inspirational reptile YouTuber out there. The man's been doing it for the longest. As far as my knowledge goes, he either was one of the first or the first dude to start realizing that you can vlog while doing reptiles. You can breed reptiles and do vlogging on YouTube, just like how everyone else vlogs their daily life. Dude started back in 2008. I was like 12 back then. I don't know, something like that. 13? I don't know, man. He's been doing it for I'm sorry, Brian, if you do watch this. I apologize for making you feel old. But, man, the dude's been doing it forever. It is incredible. Starting back from Snake Bites TV, just vlogging about the reticulated python getting loose, just down there in the BHB dungeon, to now the Reptarium. Just being able to see that. I remember, man, it's absolutely crazy, man. I remember going back and I remember seeing when he first started the zoo, seeing the first space, no cages put in. It was just this blank giant room, to then the Lucy cage, so on and so forth. The first part of the zoo, then going into the second part of the zoo. And now we got these dreams of an aquarium and another expansion on the Reptarium. See, for me, Brian was the first reptile channel I ever found. Much like most people, about a decade back, man, I was just a kid with a bearded dragon and a couple of crested geckos, and like everyone else, you search up reptiles on YouTube and who shows up? Brian Barczyk. And I was a fan ever since, man. Except for that brief period where, you enter like that 6-month, I call it the 6-month reptile expert, where you think you're an expert and you see Brian Barczyk uses snake racks, and all of a sudden he's the worst person ever because of snake racks. And then a couple years pass and you realize that opinion is absolutely the most dog trash opinion you could have, and you start using snake racks yourself, and all of a sudden you become the villain of your own imagination. What? Bottom line, Brian is an amazing man. I still remember about a year back when I first got to check out the Reptarium, back when I was able to go on Brian's podcast. And that right there is just an amazing thing. This was still, remember folks, this is about a year or so ago. I think I had like 5,000 subscribers at the time. So, I mean, no reputation in the hobby, no social media following. There is absolutely, and the key when it comes to social media influencers, there is no reason to have this kid come on your show. Yep, Brian did it. He took him the time, he sat me down, we talked just like friends, we went on the podcast, had a great time. I got to check out the Reptarium. I got to hold Pepper, a melanistic alligator, another dream on my bucket list coming true. And then after, the dude was nice enough because renting the car, it fell through. So I had to Uber there. It's like an $80 Uber because we booked a hotel that was next to the airport. He went through, the place is packed. And Brian said, no, don't get yourself an Uber. I can drive you back to the airport. I can drive you an hour away from the Reptarium back to your hotel and then drive back. A 2-hour round trip for me, for a guy he didn't even know. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Just the nicest guy. At end of the day, just the nicest dude you'll ever meet. You think of someone with a social media following, you know, an influencer with millions of subscribers, you think, yeah, they're probably gonna have an inflated ego. God, I know my ego's probably been a little too inflated with 20,000 subscribers. I can't imagine what kind of monster I'm gonna turn into when we hit 2 million. Not Brian, man. He is the most laid-back, down-to-earth guy you'll ever meet. And just... I know people have their reservations and whatever. I think your opinion's dog trash if you have that opinion. If you really just see the Reptarium and you see how Brian reacts and just acts with his customers, you can see there is no gimmick with Brian Barczyk. There is, the people that are out there, they're like, oh, Brian's just doing it for money. You're stupid. You're wrong. At the end, it's not an opinion, you're wrong. If you go see how Brian Barczyk interacts with the people, with the customers, the dude straight up just a passion for education and a passion for animals. There's nothing less. In all, 10 out of 10 guy. Still takes the time to this day. He messages me on Instagram. I cannot imagine the messages this guy gets. Yes, whenever I have a question, whenever I have something I need some advice for, boom, within a couple of minutes, he's there responding. He still checks out my stories whenever I post a little YouTube thumbnail with the link, and he's like, hey, that's a good thumbnail. And I'm like, God damn, well, Brian Barczyk says it's good, it must be magnificent. Just, man, he's just a good guy. At the end of the day, just a good guy. I think that's what honestly makes this so much more heartbreaking. Like, out of all the people in the world, Brian's going through this. And that's what it really sucks. It's such a crappy situation. I know we were about to, me and my friend John, we're planning a trip to go down there, check out the Airbnb, check out how the aquarium's going. I was really excited to see him again. And to see him be hit with this news, man, it's awful. It breaks my heart at the end of the day. That's really it. Right, I think I've rambled on long enough about how great Brian Barczyk is, because he is. He's a great guy. I do want to wrap this video up and talking about a couple of ways that we can help Brian through this difficult journey. First one is going to be for all my Facebook users out there. Kevin McCurley actually made an entire Facebook page dedicated for Brian Barczyk. I believe it is Stay Strong Brian. I'll have a little thing right here in case I am wrong. Great place. I got me a couple of buddies. It's actually grown exponentially. I remember I got invited at like 300, now I think it's up to 2,000. I want to get that like way more up. Like I want to see 10, 20, 30, 50,000 people following this, because I know there has to be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that care for Brian Barczyk. So I have the link for that Facebook group thing linked right down there in the description. Go check it out, say some kind words to Brian. I know he's over there and he reads all the nice things. Yeah. Number 2, and this comes from the big man himself. I just want to reiterate on my channel in case for some reason you guys missed that vlog. That's going to be post some comments. Watch the vlog. He stated himself, obviously with stuff he's going through, he's not going to be on the vlogs a lot of the time. There is going to be a time period where he just isn't up for it. Make sure you watch the vlog even if Brian's not there. Also, of course, comment positivity on every video he's got going on. He's going through a tough time. He needs all the thoughts, all the prayers, all the positive energy, whatever the thing yours is. Make sure to say some nice things to Brian. Comment down there on every vlog that he has. Lastly, the third thing was actually someone that posted on that Stay Strong Brian Facebook group that I thought was actually a pretty cool idea. Obviously, with the aquarium expansion, Brian has a GoFundMe for that. I'm going to have that link right down there in the description as well. Go check it out, and if you are able to donate some money, that would be absolutely awesome. We can help Brian out and get him one step closer to that new dream of opening the aquarium. Yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up the video for today. Brian, if you happen to stumble across this video, I love you, brother, man. I wish you nothing but the most positive and fastest recovery ever. If anyone's going to beat the odds on this thing, I know it's going to be you. And as always, folks, thank you so much for taking the time in your day to follow us over here at Dakota Blue Exotics. I will see you guys in the next one, but until then, goodbye.